Hi there. My name is Dr. Carrie Demers, and I'm here today to talk to you about another wellness topic. And today it's about the science of breath. Like how in the heck does our body, our lungs, take in oxygen from our environment and nourish every cell in our body? Because that's what's happening, right? Every cell uses oxygen to do its work, whatever that is, whether it's a brain cell or a kidney cell or a muscle cell. All those cells use oxygen to make energy so they can do their job. And every cell in the process of using oxygen makes carbon dioxide as a waste product. So every cell brings in oxygen, every cell releases carbon dioxide, and guess what? That's what our lungs are doing too. Every day, without you even thinking about it, our lungs are bringing in oxygen, breathing out carbon dioxide, some 20,000 times a day without you even noticing, right? It's a miracle. So today I wanted to talk to you about the physiology of that. How does that even happen? So we're gonna start with the nose, because we breathe in through our nose. Your nose is an incredible structure. It's designed to bring in the air, swirl it around inside of this part of our head, so that the particles in it get stuck to the mucous membranes in our nose. It also warms the air and humidifies the air. So the air that ends up in our lungs is warm and clean and moist, which is kind to our lung tissue. It also means that we don't breathe in the dust or the germs that might be out here, or the pollen that might be out here, right? So that's awesome. And there's the structure of our nose is such that happens, that there's these little turbinates, these bumps back there that actually cause the air to make these currents. The other really cool thing about our nose is that in our sinuses, which connect to our nose, we're making a molecule called nitric oxide. Sorry to be like geeky, but this molecule has actually been widely studied recently, and we know that it actually helps our blood vessels dilate, which means it helps the oxygen get to where it's going. We know that it's linked to better cardiovascular health and lower blood pressure, and we also know that it's an anti-inflammatory. So good to keep those inflammation levels down in our bodies. All that's happening in our sinuses. Our body makes it elsewhere, but it's happening as you inhale through your nose. You're bringing in that health-promoting molecule, nitric oxide. So what else about your nose? Your nose also has a thing called your nasal cycle. This is less studied in modern medicine because we don't know what the heck it means. But in ancient science, like yoga, there's this understanding that our nostril breathing actually correlates to energies in our body. That when our right nostril is more open, that the air is flowing stronger through the right side, it supports or activates the active energies in our body. We call it the sun, the digestive, the immune processes, the things that are more aggressive or assertive in our body. And when the air is more strong through your left side, that it supports the more receptive yin, restorative processes in our body, right? So your body does this, again, without you knowing. There's actually a way that your nostril dominance, the side of your nose that's more open, alternates all throughout the day and night. Every about 90 to 120 minutes, it switches. So if you were to check your nose right now, you'd probably notice that one side, the air is moving freer than the other side. And if you check it again in a couple hours, it'll be the other side when we're healthy. If that nostril dominance gets stuck on one side and you only breathe through one side, it actually subtly contributes to disease and to imbalance in the body. All right, so that's happening all here in our head. And what we know, and there's mounting evidence now that says when we don't breathe through our nose, we actually invite problems with our health. So if we're breathing through our mouths instead of our noses, it actually can change the structure of our face. That keeping our mouths closed and the pressure of our tongue against our palate actually broadens the palate and broadens the cheekbones. It actually allows there to be better airflow. So it actually is associated with like better facial structure, where like a sagging jaw or a sagging jawline can actually be associated with mouth breathing, and then more problem with sleep, more problem with snoring, sleep apnea, heart disease. Remember, because that nitric oxide is from nasal breathing. You don't get it when you mouth breathe. So there's more of a link to multiple inflammation processes and heart disease when we mouth breathe. So breathe through your nose, best you can. If it's clogged up, get that fixed up, but the goal is to breathe through our nose. Then our breath comes down into our lungs, and another miracle happens. We have in our bloodstream a molecule called hemoglobin that lives in our red blood cells. And you might know that your red blood cells are the primary gas-carrying cell. It carries the oxygen, it carries the carbon dioxide, and that hemoglobin molecule adjusts itself to glom on, to bond to oxygen when it's in an oxygen-rich environment. So in the lungs, when you're breathing in, there's lots of oxygen. And so that hemoglobin is bonding up. It's attaching itself to all the oxygen. It's going out into your body through the bloodstream to all the cells. But the cells need oxygen. So it's not an oxygen poor environment. And the hemoglobin structure changes to release the oxygen in that oxygen poor tissue. And then that same molecule bonds strongly to the carbon dioxide in those tissues, comes back to the lungs where it's carbon dioxide poor, and it releases the carbon dioxide and bonds up with oxygen. So to me, I remember learning that in biochemistry when I was an undergrad, and I was like, what? This chemical structure changes so that it bonds strongly to oxygen when there's lots of oxygen, but releases it when there's less oxygen. It bonds the carbon dioxide strongly when there's lots of carbon dioxide, and then releases carbon dioxide when there's not very much around. So it's just this incredible little molecule that's doing all the work of carrying these gases around your body to bring oxygen to your tissues and release the carbon dioxide in the lungs so you can breathe it out. A miracle. All right, the last thing. So that's the mechanics of breathing and oxygen flow and carbon dioxide, being exhaled. But the other really major thing that our breath, that our respiratory system does, is it affects our nervous system. And all of you who do yoga know this. We teach breathing in yoga class, not because we want to maximize your nitric oxide or your oxygen flow, although that's a benefit. It's mostly because we want you to feel relaxed. So when we breathe deeply, and not up here, not in our chest, but down here in our belly, when we use our diaphragm, we breathe deeply here, inhaling and exhaling. We shift our nervous system to a more relaxed state. We call it more vagal tone, more parasympathetic tone, right? You shift your nervous system to a place that it knows how to do, this relax, this digest and rest kind of state, the state that actually supports immune system, supports all your restorative and healing abilities are supported by this state. So when you go to yoga and they have you breathe in Shavasana or they have you breathe standing in Tadasana, it's because we're shifting our nervous system to this relaxed, calm, grounded state. Oh, it's so good. So the goal, again, is for us to link to that breath. Ideally, throughout your day, take a little moment right now and feel yourself breathing. Feel the air come in, feel the air go out. If you can, shift your breath deeper in your body so you feel it down here in your rib cage instead of up here in your chest. And feel how that deep, slow, even breathing nourishes you, calms your body, relaxes tension, and helps your mind feel less scattered, more nourished, safe, grounded, peaceful, right? Oh, so that's what we all want. So I'm inviting you to love your lungs, love your nose, be connected to them, maybe throughout your day even while you're driving at a traffic light. Notice your breath. Come to your breath throughout your day and let it not just do its job of unconsciously moving our oxygen around in our body, but consciously come home to it. Let it be a source of grounding and peace for you.